Hey guys, Pastor Steve. We're going to continue this week. We talked last week, if you tuned in, we had talked about surviving in the wilderness. This week, we're going to talk about surviving and thriving in the promised land. And the day one I want to talk about is faith and testing. We've been around this mountain long enough. That's what the Lord spoke in Deuteronomy 2:3 to the children of Israel. You have compassed this mountain long enough. Go towards the north. There comes a moment, in our life when circling ends, movement begins, not backward, not comfortable, but forward into promise. But hear this clearly. The promised land is not the absence of pressure. The Bible teaches us that. It's the place where faith is required at a higher level. And we're going to need more of the word. When Israel stood at Jordan in Joshua 3:17, it says the water didn't part first. The priest had to step first. It says the priest stood firm on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan. See, their obedience created the atmosphere for God's power. Faith wasn't proven. You need to write that down. Faith was not proven in comfort, it was revealed in pressure. And that's the same for us. We don't wait for everything to make sense. We didn't wait for fear to leave. We didn't step while the river is still flowing, because many times what we do in obedience becomes the doorway for what God does in his power. See, Jericho didn't fall because it made sense. It fell because they followed instructions. In Joshua 6, I believe it's verse 2 and 5, it says God gave them strategy, but that strategy required obedience before the victory. They had to speak, they had to walk, they had to obey. Even when it looks foolish, we got to do those things. Because if it doesn't require faith, it's not the promised land. And here's the truth. We don't always talk about it. But just because we are in the promise doesn't mean testing stops. In Judges 2:20, it says that God said that he allows certain nations to remain to test Israel, to see whether that they would walk in his ways, not to destroy them, but to reveal them. See, the promise doesn't remove testing. It just gives testing purpose. Every moment of obedience is warfare. Every step of faith pushes back unbelief. As 2 Corinthians tells us in chapter 5, it says, we walk by faith and not by sight. Every decision to trust God, when it's hard, is a declaration. We're not living by what we see, we're living by what he said. Write that down. We're not living by what we see, we're living by what he said. Testing reveals what's in the heart. It builds endurance, it forms character. Like James 1 says, that the trying of your faith works patience, that you may be perfect and complete. And it teaches us something. We can learn it teaches us something we can't learn any other way. That we are not self-sufficient. We are God dependent. Amen. So when we face what we can't handle, it's not failure, it's training. Because 2 Corinthians tells us that it reminds us, my grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in weakness. God will allow us to face what exceeds us so we learn to trust what's within us. This is how we survive. This is how we thrive in the promised land. God bless. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Love you guys. Pastor Steve.